Hey YouTube, it's Grace, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how I painted my Minecraft Spruce door. I made a door painting tutorial back in early 2021, but it was specified more towards the oak door, and also this door I made over 2 years ago, so it kind of needed a little bit of a touch-up. So I figured if I was going to paint it, then I may as well film it and kind of just show you guys the basics of how I did it. Now since this door was already painted, I will kind of go over the details with how I got up to this point, just in case you guys haven't seen my other door painting tutorial. It's sort of like a refresher. Okay, we are now down in my basement, which is where I have all of my shipping supplies for Etsy and commissions. So this room is a bit of a mess, but bear with me because on the other side of my camera is a door. So if you just want to pretend that this is your door, I'll show you exactly how to make the grid and everything. Now before I actually start anything, I always like to clean my door because no one ever cleans their doors and they're actually really gross. So I usually use like a wood spray or like Fabuloso or anything, I don't know, just clean your door and then you can proceed. After it's clean and dry, you need to measure it. So how tall it is and how wide it is. Most standard doors in the US at least are 30 inches wide and 80 inches tall, but you are better off measuring and not using my numbers because yours might be a little bit different. The next thing you need to know is the proportions of Minecraft doors, which are 16 pixels wide and 32 pixels tall. Then you take these two numbers and you divide them out. So you take the width of your door, which in my case is 30 inches, and divide that by 16 pixels. And then you take the height of your door, so in my case 80 inches, and divide that by 32 pixels. I just went ahead and wrote this out to help you visualize. If you want to use centimeters, you can. Your numbers will just look a little bit different, but it should still work as long as you keep the same basic formula. Now you might be thinking, but Grace, these are not perfectly square pixels. It's okay, don't worry. They are going to be quite a bit taller than they are wide, but that's how all of my doors have been so far, and they've turned out pretty good, so just don't worry about it. But anyways, once you have the height and width of each pixel, you can go ahead and start marking them out on your door. So for the height, it was 2.5 inches. So I'm going to be lining up my ruler and just marking every 2.5 inches all the way down across both the left and the right side. And then the width was 1.8 inches for me. So I'm going to be going across the top and the bottom and marking every 1.8 inches. And once you have those all marked out, then you can take a longer straight edge and then just connect all of your lines. Personally, I prefer to prime my door before I do any of the grid just so that it's easier to see, because if you're putting pencil on a brown door, it's kind of hard to show up. This is the same bucket of primer that I've been using for absolutely ages. It's just what we happen to have in the house, so you don't need anything fancy. And if you do decide to prime your door before you put the grid on, I would also recommend using painter's tape, sort of like around the edges, so that, especially on the top and the bottom, so that you don't get paint where you don't want it. But once your primer is dry and you have your grid drawn on, then the next step is to find a reference. I get pretty much all of my Minecraft references from Google Images, but if you can't find a good reference that you like from there, I would just go into the game and take a screenshot. So as you can see here, I literally just Googled Minecraft Spruce door and all of these came up. If I was looking for a reference, I would probably use something like this just because it's super easy to zoom in on without losing image quality. So once your door has the grid and the primer's all dry and you have a reference photo that you like, you are good to go. Another question I get a lot is how do I know exactly where each pixel goes? And for that, I will just open up my reference and zoom in. So say for example, I want to start with all of the darkest pixels. I will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So it goes over 4, down 3, and then that is where I know where to start. And then I can just kind of base the rest off of this one. Or like for the dark gray, if I wanted to start on the left side, I know that it's all the way on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would just kind of go in and fill them out that way. And the thing I like about that method is the more pixels you fill out, the more reference points you have. You just have to be very careful about whether you're counting correctly or not, otherwise you might run into some problems later, which I have definitely learned the hard way. And the other thing is color matching, which I really don't know how to describe how I know how to make the right color. It's kind of just something that I've learned from a lot of practice. And so now I can eyeball things pretty good, but I always have white and black and then like warm and cool and like green and pink, if that makes sense. So like a brown would be lighter or darker, warmer or cooler, greener or pinker, I guess. Like if you look in most photo editing apps, you'll have the ability to like adjust the photo in that sense. And so I kind of think of it like that in my head. like, oh, this is a cooler brown, or oh, this is a warmer brown. And then I kind of just do it. Depending on the type of paint that you're using, you'll probably need to add several coats. When I first made my door back in 2020, I used the cheapest paint I could possibly get, which was the Apple Barrel brand from Walmart. And I never had any issues with it other than some of the paint colors were really thin, and so it was really frustrating adding a whole bunch of different coats. But over the past few months, I switched brands and I use something now called Master's Touch, which is a lot thicker, and I just like the texture of it better. And I only had to add one coat for fixing my door this time around. So, but anyways, I hope that was helpful. That's kind of just what I did to get up to this point. The main reason that I decided to do another coat of paint on my door was just because I feel like it wasn't really up to standards with my skill levels now. I've gotten a lot better at color matching and painting straight lines without messing up. So I just wanted to fix it because there were a lot of little details that had been bothering me for a while. But without further ado, I am going to play the clips of me actually painting my door now. So let's get into that. This is my before. A lot of people really like it, but there's a lot of tiny flaws in there, like the lines aren't perfectly straight or the paint is starting to chip. This door needs a makeover. So that is what we're doing today. But before I paint anything, I am going to clean it off because I have not cleaned this door in almost 2 years. Cleaning it off kind of took off a little bit of the paint, but I don't really care because I'm painting over it anyways. I just got a bunch of different colors that I might need, and I'm going to try and match everything the best I can. I just mixed this one for the darkest, so let's see. I've done a couple test runs. This looks pretty dang good. I experimented a little bit, but mostly just started with the dark brown and added some red and white and ended up with this one. So now I just need to fill in all of that same color with the one I just mixed. I just finished the first color and already I think it looks way better, especially in this area here where most of the paint was chipping. The lines just look a lot cleaner, the paint looks thicker, and yeah, I really like it so far. It looks a little funny from further away, but I think once I have all the other colors adjusted, then it'll look a lot better. Next, I'm going to do all of the black and the different shades of gray. Now the next day, I decided just to let everything dry so that I would actually have a place to rest my hand without getting paint all over it. But anyways, this is the next color I'll be doing. It's just a little bit lighter than this one, so I'm going to take this as my base color and just add a bit of white to it. This is the color that I ended up with. I ended up adding a little bit of brown as well as white just because I felt like it was too red. Here is that second darkest color after it's dried. I think next I'm going to do this color here. Okay, so I used all of these colors and I'm not sure how this happened, but I mixed this and I was trying to make this color, but I accidentally made a color way closer to this one, so we're gonna do that instead. This is the color that I just came up with for here. I basically just mixed these two together and then added a little bit of dark brown, red, and white. I just have one color left right now and I am so excited to see how it looks. I'm going to be adjusting this one to just be slightly lighter than this one. All right, this is the color that I mixed and that is how it looks compared to the old color. I did it very similar to this one, except I just added a bit more white. Something else I have to keep in mind when mixing these colors is that once they dry, they look a little bit darker like you see here. So if I mix a color and I like it exactly how it is there, it will dry and look different. I just finished the last color, so all of the paint is officially on. The top half is pretty much dry, but the bottom half is still wet, so that's why it looks a little bit lighter on some of those colors. The last thing I'll be doing is going in with this darkest shade and just kind of fixing some of the lines, especially towards the outside that I kind of messed up a little bit on. Thankfully, there were just a few of those spots, so I was able to get it done pretty quickly. So now I'm just gonna wait for everything to dry, and then I will show you once it's done. So this is my door now. It is completely dry, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I can sort of fit it all in one frame if I look in my mirror, so that is sort of like a further back view. But if you look at it close up now, you'll see that the paint is completely opaque. All of the lines are a lot cleaner, and the colors just look better, in my opinion at least. I will go ahead and put a side-by-side comparison on the screen here so that you can see the before and after a little bit better. The difference from far away was not super noticeable, but close-up made a huge difference, and honestly I like it way better now. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and found it at least somewhat helpful. If you have any specific questions about how to make a door or any other like pixel art related things, either comment down below or DM me on Instagram. I try to reply as often as I can, and I'm happy to help you with any questions that you may have. Also, one more little announcement. By the time you're seeing this, it'll probably be the very end of August or beginning of September. And at that point, I am back in school. I'm in college, if you didn't know, so I'm not sure what my upload schedule is going to look like for the school year. Hopefully, I can continue to upload somewhat regularly, but I'm going to be prioritizing school, and it may not be as often as it has been over the summer. So if you'd like to see what else I'm up to, I will have all of my social medias linked in the description: TikTok, Instagram, all that jazz, which I'm a bit more active on there than I am on here. So if you would like to see what I'm up to, then check those out. That is it for this video, so thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see you in my next one. Bye!